Hello, it's Mrs. Musey. I am so sorry. I forgot. I forgot that today I have to attend meetings. So I thought I would come to you via video today. This is already on the board, but today you're going to need your notebooks and you're going to also need the textbook. So the first thing that we're going to do is, yay, write in our journal. All right, your journal question, it is up on the board to your left. When do or did you feel peer pressure to do something with which you are or were uncomfortable? So what we're reading today has to do a lot with peer pressure. So when did that affect you is the question. So you're going to go ahead and do that, and you might need to pause the video at this point. When you are done with that, you're going to go to the notes section of your notebook. So we're done with our journal. We're going to go to the notes section of our notebooks, and we are going to still add to the literary terms. So we're going to add to the literary terms. This is literary term number 6. Most of you I know already know this, so this is just a very brief overview. So I want you to add this. It's foreshadowing. It's when the author provides hints of what's to come. And there's quite a bit of foreshadowing in the lottery, which is what we're going to be finishing up today. And again, if you need to pause the video, feel free to. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and begin reading. All right. So we have been reading the book, as you well know. You have a sheet of paper that you started yesterday where you are writing down what you believe the author might be doing, and then you're starting to question, why is the author doing this? So if you would, go ahead and go to page 28, and I'm going to provide you with an example of this. Not every class got to this paragraph. Some of you already got to this paragraph, but just so that everybody has an example. So I'm on page 28, and I'm looking at this paragraph that starts with, just as Mr. Summers. Just as Mr. Summers finally left off talking and turned to the assembled villagers, Mrs. Hutchinson came hurriedly along the path to the square, her sweater thrown over her shoulders and slid into place in the back of the crowd. Clean forgot what day it was, she said to Mrs. Delacroix, who stood next to her, and they both laughed softly. Thought my old man was out back stacking wood, Mrs. Hutchinson went on, and then I looked out the window and the kids was gone, and then I remembered it was the 27th and came a-running. She dried her hands on the apron, and Mrs. Delacroix said, You're in time, though. They're still talking away up there. So, okay, so sorry about that. That was Mr. Musey. He suddenly decided to listen to some music while I was recording. It's all good. So, again, we're just taking a bulleted list. So, you would then write down, what is the author doing here? So, one of the things that I might write down is, we've had so much detail about this box and the whole ritual of the lottery. How is it possible that somebody could forget? And so, what is the author doing here with Mrs. Hutchinson? Why do we even need this paragraph? Is it going to be important later? Is the author building us up to something? What is the author doing there? Those would be some things that I would write down. What you need to do is you need to stop at least about every paragraph. Now, I will tell you this. If you kind of flip through right now with me, I'm flipping through the text. You can see you're going to come to places where there's a lot of dialogue. So obviously, you might not stop every paragraph. Here's a paragraph. We don't need to stop every paragraph, but you should probably stop about every, 10 or 15 lines or so. So I do expect to see lots of bullets. And again, you're trying to think about, what is the author doing, and can I answer the why? When you are done, when you are all done, tucked into your book is a copy of these questions. If you want to go ahead and take a look at page 34, so go to your textbook and open up to page 34, and you're going to do some questioning, answering questions based upon some of the things that are on page 34 and 35. So 34 and 35 asks you, at what point did you realize the purpose of the lottery? Page 35 asks you to impact word choice. So that's all about tone. And then that idea of denotation and connotation obviously plays a role there. And then also analyzing the author's choices. So that's going to ask you questions about mood, irony, foreshadowing, and then pacing. Again, there's a copy of these questions inside your book, so you should be able to get to that very easily. Please leave that copy for the next class. You are going to record your answers to these questions on your own sheet of paper. It can be the same sheet where you wrote your notes about what you think the author's doing and why while you were reading. If you want to, you may work with a partner for these questions, 1, 2, and 3. Realize that question 3 has an A, B, C, and D, but you both need to have your own sheets of paper. Now, if you don't get done, here is something new that we haven't talked about at all. You can indeed get into this book at home, which is, yay, good news. Obviously, I will post this on my classroom as well. But to get to the book, it is simply just my.hrw.com. If you want to write that down, go ahead and pause. So you're going to go to that website, and your usernames are simply your student number padded with zeros. So you're going to add a 0 to the front so that your username has 6 digits. And then your passwords are your initials, your birth month, birthday, and birth year. And all of those are 2 digits. And then here's an example. So those were your initials, ABC, and you were born on January 22nd, 2001. That would be your password. I am so sorry that I'm not there with you today. You will probably see me in the building. I am simply at meetings today, kind of just one of those things. So I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm sad that I don't get to enjoy the end of the lottery with you, but you enjoy it. Some of you will be very surprised at what happens, and I'm anxious to talk to you tomorrow. Take care and have a great Wednesday.